Fragger too, you know, when they can just get the drop on someone, for example, who's going to be late crossing from mid, I'd say, to get onto the site. But speaking about getting onto the site, let's get into the map. And here we can see it. Heretics going on against WINSTRIKE. Heretics who have won one map so far. Nuke just now. But WINSTRIKE who have the opportunity here on their own map pick to turn it back around and to perhaps push it to the third map over, which is going to be Overpass.
But just look at those ads from, odds from Vi.gg. Not really favoring WINSTRIKE anymore after being destroyed on that previous map. Now we see a very good start on towards the knife round from the side of Heretics as well. Steppity step, and I think it's going to be Maka to have a bright ID and possibly also another knife win. As he will be tagged up and actually align with the clutch.
The clutch knife kill. WINSTRIKE obviously off to a good start. What side do you think they're going to start on?
I would say the CT side. It's just going to be a little bit more of a comfort pick. And we're going to see how they will actually bring it home. Of course, they will swap it all around. And we're just going to wait for this map to go live. I'm banking on that WINSTRIKE. Real good win, especially now starting on that CT side, possibly gaining a little bit of momentum. Are you doubting yourself yet?
Okay, yeah, of course. I was really thrown off by a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, no, shooting pew.
Yeah, it's it's the warm up still. I think that I don't expect to see overtime. We've gone against each other there. You know, you are saying that map 2 will go to overtime, but why? What tells you that you're going to see overtime?
Well, I figured the first map, Heretics, will be the stronger side. They made it close.
Eventually.
But now, on towards the second map, WINSTRIKE will try to at least get into a very good position. Now, also having their side pick really helps. But then looking in towards later into the round, they will have some trouble closing out the match, potentially, because that's a occurrence which isn't that rare and nowadays with WINSTRIKE. So then there's a very big chance that Heretics will battle their way back in towards the map and make it really close. Possibly overtime, possibly double overtime, but also possibly just a map win for WINSTRIKE, and then they'll be happy. My bets will be a little bit less happy, but I'll still be quite convinced that Heretics on the third map, Overpass of course, will be able to close things out.
Okay. Yeah, I think... I really don't see Overpass happening, to be quite honest. It's not like I put in that it's going to be 2-0, but I did put in for Team Heretics win, and obviously then, you know, if we want to see a Team Heretics win, then if they get this map in, then I think that's a pretty solid, well, go-to, pretty solid, just convincing win for them, and a pretty solid I was right.
Well, let's see. It's the first pistol to start right here. WINSTRIKE on the previous map of Nuke won both of them, but didn't manage to convert it into a win. Let's see what it will bring to the table. USPs and of course that P2000 in hand for Lackey. Going possibly a little bit more aggressive, as it's going to be Kiyoshima trying to contest that mid area. The rest of the team will go for B. It's going to be a split, but 2 opening frags already for WINSTRIKE, and that's a very good start. Will they be able to hold on, however? That will be the question. Lackey standing by. Is going to be Kiyoshima with the first frag, still flanking around this B side, and that will put down pressure on towards the B side where Lackey is standing and will be falling. Heretics turn it all around. A 3-2 player score, meaning that they have now a very good chance at winning this round, taking that bomb plant, but losing 2 players. Only Lucky alive. That planter from downtown will be struck down by a Lion, and that is the first round. That was a double turnaround. Double 180 so far.
I do have to say, by the way, the Vi.gg odds are actually, well, looking quite favorably for WINSTRIKE at the moment, which I find...
No, they're the other way around. WINSTRIKE will have... See?
It's classic.
You're dreaming. You were almost going for the live bet on towards WINSTRIKE.
Yeah. Well,
or Heretics.
I may or may not have already put in all my
true.
all of my allowance, because you know I'm an all in or nothing kind of guy. It's of course I might regret that, but we'll see. So far, what was also quite regrettable here is probably Heretics, their performance. So far it's WINSTRIKE that have actually gotten the first round then. And WINSTRIKE, who knows, maybe they're off to a very good start. Maybe this means that now Vertigo might be their map, might be their moment. But at the same time, it's a question mark, you know. WINSTRIKE had a great start on the previous map, and look how that ended.
Well, let's see. The Deagles are moving in for the side of Heretics, hoping to equalize the score relatively quickly. There's a player coming soon at this scaffolding as Maka is standing by the P250. I'm not really sure why he wouldn't put a Deagle player on there. XMS with the opening kill on towards Bombek will be traded out relatively cleanly. And that means WINSTRIKE is down an important player, but still at least are in this round for the winning. As long as they don't mess up, Kristen might jump up here and will be taken down as Maka still biding his time, still holding the angle. The time is slowly ticking down. Really interesting to see a little mid-contest to come out, but as Kyoshima pushes up, it's going to be Nickelback with the first kill of this mid area. And now he's looking for more. He's waiting for the next peak to come in, and if that would be a Deagle, it would be detrimental as Lucky will also fall.
Mind, obviously, any frag that Heretics manages to get in this round is a nice little takeaway for them, but right now it isn't looking like they can get any more besides the first one. Of course, that was for them all. Oh, well, not Lackey taken out, but the WINSTRIKE players. Lackey is actually the one who gets the frag at the end here. Nivera now going down, and WINSTRIKE getting the second round win. And with that, off to a good start once again, but it's right now it's very precarious. It's very much a question mark of, okay, off to a good start, but WINSTRIKE, are you going to really maintain this good start and eventually convincingly turn it into a potential win? Especially now, because if they don't get the map win now, well then it's a match loss, and it's going to be Heretics that take away the map and the match.
Well, RJ, one thing we have to say is that WINSTRIKE is already doing better on their CT side of Vertigo than they did on their entire CD side of Nuke. A lot of utility towards his A ramp position. Heretics is trying to get some control in, but of course there are some mollies in the way. Meaning they have to slow down, and Bombik with his M4 with a silencer. Don't really like that one. He's standing by, soon to be peeked by XMS, who's waiting for that flashbang or possibly a nade even to come in. It will just be a peek without any utility. Some damage to come in. XMS will go down eventually to Bombik, but he has already expended all of his bullets. Lucky with a refrag. That's decent for the side of Heretics, especially looking at how much more utility they have than their opponents, as the line is trying to recycle some of that dropped by Bondek himself.
Decent is perhaps the best way to put it. You say that you don't like the M4A1S, by the way. I understand that. The M4A4 is simply better.
It sounds like wet farts as Lion is now getting the kill on towards Lucky. A 4-on-3 situation. They're coming back, but losing players as well. Meaning it's going to be Nivera with a refrag. And now look at the equipment coming out from WINSTRIKE. 2 MP9s. And a lot of pressure towards his side. It will be that A commit. There will be a player pushing Nivera with one Nickelback with a return frag, but he's under pressure. Now only Lecky is alive. MP9 in hand.
Oh,
he will actually get the kill
smoke.
through the smoke. Maka will go down. A 1v1. Still that annoying MP9 in hand. Not the greatest weapon, now going to half HP as well. And that smoke will dissipate. 20 seconds, bomb is dropped. He will just need to play the time because Kyoshima has to make the move. If he doesn't, it's going to be a very sad round, and now he will grab the bomb. Will be able to fake it once, possibly twice, and still go for that peek, but he actually will stick the plant. Like he has moved up, I think Kyoshima has heard it, or at least has to have heard it. As he's holding the angle, will get a tag on through him. It's going to be the first round for the T side. Coming back slowly, but surely.
Ah, okay. Look at that. Oh, almost spoke Dutch there for a moment. Easy to fall back into old habits. But we'll see now. Heretics, they have the opportunity. They have one round so far, and who knows, maybe they'll immediately turn it over to an equalizer. WINSTRIKE's, well, economy right now, they've invested all of their funds, but problem being, of course, that that's not going to be the best buy in the world. Ooh, I like this smoke from Nivera coming in there. In the meantime... Okay.
Hey, you keep casting.
Yes,
Don't look at my stuff.
I was looking at what you were doing in the background. You cheeky little mid-game better that you are.
Well, I have to see what I can do to beat you even more in the caster clash, as it's of course still a 5-on-5. They're starting slowly, but WINSTRIKE is forcing back in towards this round. Having 2 M4s to work with, one from us on towards Kristen, not too bad as well, as he does get a kill on towards Kyoshima. Only losing half HP, and the rest of the utility already doing some on towards the remaining T-side players. They go back out in the open, will still get a kill, will now be traded out of course, but it's Bombek with a follow-up onto Lucky as well. A 4-on-2 pressure coming down onto the CZ. Bearing Bombek with low ammo. I think he's all out at this moment in time, but still he has gotten that double kill, and he's now fallen back, hoping to pick up a USP dropped by one of his teammates. Going to be another tag, another kill. It's going to be Kristen falling in the third round for WINSTRIKE. doing really well at this moment in time.
Maka, they're absolutely stuck between a rock and a hard place, I think can be said. Didn't stand much of a chance anymore, and with that, understandably so, that he lost his life. And, of course, Heretics lost the round there. WINSTRIKE so far, putting down a respectable performance, especially there on a, well, less than ideal buy. And also look at this lovely overview. Ah, I don't get how you don't like this map. It's so beautiful.
It's very grey, very stale.
It reminds me of...
Would you like your house to be very, very grey as well?
Well, no, but this is not... You can't compare those two. That's not a fair comparison.
No?
I absolutely disagree. Yes, my house isn't an office building. You know, I know I seem like this very professional and ever so working man, but no, not. I do enjoy a nice home, but we'll see. What Veritic seems to enjoy as well is, well, kind of dropping dead here because WINSTRIKE is getting the frags and Nickelback continues along with Lackey. XMS and Nevera taken out. Lucky left like the, well, as the only man standing. Not so lucky now, you could say.
Well, we're seeing Lucky just hoping that at least he'll get a kill in to have a little bit more damage go towards the economy of WINSTRIKE, but well, nothing much is going to happen, I believe, in this round. The bomb is dropped on towards mid. He can't get that down, so no more bonus money for that T side. Of course, being able to buy in towards the next with most likely full AKs and utility. Possibly one Galil if someone overspent in the previous. But we do see Lucky actually getting B-side control. Well, he's not really able to do anything with it. Nickelback holding the angle, hoping a player will fly by, but Lucky, of course, going for those frags. Double for him in this round. And a 4-1 lead in favor of course, WINSTRIKE.
Fun for him to have the B-side control there, but rather little to do with it in the end. It's just that. We can see another, you know, total rounds score here. So the odds of it being even are somewhat better than the odds of it being, well, odd. And, oh, I know. We'll see. Honestly, that one's a bit of a, I guess...
That's a hit or miss.
Yeah, it's to me, that feels like a bit of a random chance one, you know? A bit of a coin toss. Like, okay, it could be even, it could be odd. It is what it is, sort of. But what is maybe a bit, well, less odd and more calculated is Nickelback's aggressive position here on A ramp. With that, he could definitely get a frag or two if they don't anticipate him. Elian, in the meantime, goes down to XMS. Nickelback should hear the audio cues here, but can actually get the frag on Kiyoshima, but then doesn't expect Maka right there. Lucky also gets the frag on Bondik. Push up a bit further himself. Now back to the site for Elian, who has to watch out for a potential push coming from the other side here. And with that, Heretics are looking, well, not ideal still. It doesn't quite convincingly look like a potential round win for them just yet.
But if you look at the utility, there's still a little bit more working in favor of that T side. Moving up slowly now. 2 smokes still left in their pockets. And of course, 1 flashbang. Flicks missing from Maka. Still being challenged by the player with the M4 for some reason. Why would you still go for that, Chrisen? You've already been very lucky surviving twice. Should have probably supported on towards a Lion. But now we see a 3-on-1 scoreline player-wise. And Heretics will, of course, go for that plan. No problem whatsoever. And it's Lackey moving in, trying to get a wallbang, but there will be some barrels in between. And they'll have to go for the save because there is no chance that Heretics will throw this one away as well.
Absolutely not, but it has to be said there for a moment. You know, it looked pretty favorable for WINSTRIKE. They had more HP, they should have had a better sight hold, but then, well, you just get this, I guess, bad positioning by WINSTRIKE, you could say, kind of over-aggressive peeking there at times, which allowed Heretics to get a frag or two. And with that now, understandably so, this round.
Well, we do see Lackey being able to save that AK, not being contested whatsoever by the side of Heretics. Finally getting another round in under their belt. Of course, being able to rebuy in full as well. I'm curious to see what the economy of WINSTRIKE will look like. Of course, having that AK saved. And looking at the other players, they will be able to buy up moderately okay, or even pretty good. As I do believe Grison has now spent all his money aligned, most likely with an AWP as well. And they could make it work. They could once more extend their lead to where it once was.
And who knows, although so far Heretics is looking a bit more favorable than they did in the last map, where they only managed to achieve 3 rounds. Now they're a lot closer to the 3-round mark and quite a bit faster, I dare say. So we'll see. It starts off a bit better for WINSTRIKE, though, as Elian gets the first frag. 1 player on the Heretics side taken out. And now an A-ramp push somewhat denied.
Yeah, Lion opening things up once more. The AWP going for the aggressive peek. That's what I was hoping for that he would do on towards this map. Something I would have expected a little bit more of on towards Nuke as well. That would have possibly given them a little bit more room to work with on towards that yard area. And of course on their CT side, which was quite horrendous. Almost unwatchable for most players in the world. So you do see Bondek standing by close, hoping that whenever that smoke will dissipate, there'll be netted some kills. But Yoshima actually with the first frag on towards Grison for the side of Heretics to equalize the score. Now seemingly going to possibly rotate towards B, joining with the rest of his team.
Could be a wise move, to be fair. A stronger B site presence, and it's starting to look like the B site is also the one that they're choosing. Going up on the stairs now, and there they're going to come across the hold of Nickelback along with Lackey. However, Lackey gets taken out. Lucky has that frag, and now Nickelback out of the equation as well. Bondik along with Ilian do hold it further though, and the flank wasn't really that successful, it seems. It's now a 2v1 situation. A plant going in, Ilian going close. Nice quick scope there, but Kiyoshima refrags immediately, getting Heretics the third round. And let's hope that this time around, that's not the only round that they're going to get.
And the problem is that Bondik had a very good flank coming in clutch, but he also overcommitted. So the moment he got one kill, he then tried to chase down, expecting possibly Heretics to already go for that plant. And when that didn't come out, it was quite easy for the T side to deal with him and leave Lion all by his lonesome. He got one frag, very good aggressive play with the AWP. But just imagine what would have happened if Bondik was alive and pushed with him at the same time. It would have been most likely a win for WINSTRIKE, and that would have netted them a 5th round, extending their lead, hoping that they could have actually done a little bit better. Here once more in a beautiful camera work, the push from Bondik. She got a good frag, but the player was just standing by, no problem whatsoever for Kiyoshima, having those barrels, also blocking the view of a Lion, not being peaked whatsoever. And if FAMAS versus an AK, of course you know who should win.
Clearly, I mean, the FAMAS is a decent-ish weapon, but it's not really ideal, you know. It's I do prefer, if I have to choose, you know, I do prefer the Galil, to be quite honest. The FAMAS, it has the, I believe, somewhat faster fire rate.
I wouldn't know for sure. I just do pew-pew. I don't like to use the FAMAS.
No, well, no, neither do I. But sometimes you're forced, you know. Sometimes you don't have a choice, and you have to just make do.
You have to buy utility for your team, and you're just sacrificing a better weapon.
Yep, yep. And it's so tragic, but it's the things that you do sometimes to just get the win, right? Right now, there might be a, well, I dare say a tactical timeout or a technical pause. Either way, could be a chance for, if it is a tactical, for the teams to discuss a little bit. Heretics looking ahead and hoping to actually get the round win this time, and maybe then equalize it out.
Yeah, it's very nice to see the side of WINSTRIKE currently standing with where we are also standing, of course, in the Vertigo CT spawn, biding their time, hoping to eventually get going once more. Not really sure whose issue it will be, but indeed it will be that technical issue already going on. And we're waiting. The players are standing by. Some are moving a little bit more than the others, and one player is actually disconnected, I do believe. But he'll be back. Don't worry. At least Counter-Strike boots real quick. There's been games I've casted before which take ages to load.
Does Rainbow Six take that long?
Oh my god.
Really?
It's so bad. Like when someone has to reconnect, you know you'll be out for at least 5 minutes. There's been a few problems with Lucky and Kiyoshima's internet. Hopefully they'll be back very soon. But, well, you never know. Internet is something which, unfortunately, is quite often out of your own hands, just relying on that ISP.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't do as good of a job as they should do. Well, I mean, we've both endured tales with producers where, for example, the internet limit kind of ran out and they didn't have any internet left. Of course, a tragic tale, something
that's just Belgian internet, man.
That might just be a Belgian internet. No, I will admit you've got me there. It could be on us. But oh well. It is what it is. We'll see those players reconnect soon enough, I think, and then all should be well in the world. All should be fine. And I think that, you know, still, I'm hoping for Heretics here. I think that they, once they are back, of course, that they should have a solid chance of getting the equalizer here.
Well, let's see what they can do. Heretics, of course, now being slowed down. this is something that pressures on towards your players, especially if the problem is on your end. You know you won't be ready to at least keep your mind in the game. You'll be ready, or at least focusing on trying to fix whatever is going wrong. And then, well, WINSTRIKE's just sitting there, probably discussing what went wrong in the previous round. And saying,
I mean,
maybe we have to do this, maybe we have to do that, and then everything will be smooth sailing.
I do wonder if they have the opportunity, or well, if they are allowed to talk, during a technical timeout.
Ooh.
It's because it is
LAN
online.
you never
on LAN,
are.
On LAN you
Online
aren't.
is sometimes a little bit harder.
Yeah, because I don't know if there's for example, a referee or something that's keeping that kind of.
Of course.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. But if he's actually keeping tabs on that kind of thing, because in essence, it wouldn't be fair, because obviously, if the players on the Heretic side are restarting their internet.
Well, it happens. I'm not sure if the players are in the same house as well, because it's quite odd that both Lucky and Kyoshima at the same time do disconnect. So it might be that they're just landing together, being BFFs,
Yeah, it could be good for morale, At least you can get those fist bumps out.
Well, it's really important.
Yeah.
Like, just having that interaction, just to be able to give your teammate a fist bump, it's so nice to at least have a little bit of feedback when something goes right. Just screaming for your TeamSpeak is just not the same. But it's eventually going to be the same as the players do reconnect. But it's just a little bit of a momentum builder. It's also very nice that when either you are dead or your teammate next to you, you can of course look towards their screen for some extra intel and try to at least get things going via the TeamSpeak or whatever voice operating system you are trying to use. We do hear some chat messages coming in, so most likely they will be starting soon. Kyoshima and luckily back as well, hopefully with a little bit of a more decent connection.
Yeah, by the way, the thing that you highlighted there about the morale, I think not to be underestimated, and in general, something that is perhaps missed as well, The good old days of playing on LAN and seeing a filled stage, but who knows? Eventually, things like that will come back as well.
We will be back. But luckily, we have the fortunate event of being able to play esports online as well, as we do see things getting going again. WINSTRIKE still being in the lead, albeit 4-3 rather than the 5-2 that it could have been.
Yeah.
But now let's see, the Heretics buy will be good. WINSTRIKE buy, non-existent.
And well, that WINSTRIKE buy being non-existent is a pretty telltale sign that this might just be a round going to Heretics, that it might just be their equalizer. Let's see what WINSTRIKE is going to try. They are starting to slowly move up on ramp. I suppose it would be a good spot or a good move to actually just go on for a full-on A ramp stack, push through, at least get a frag or two, but it isn't quite looking like it just yet, because Lucky and XMS are getting frag after frag. Only Bondic manages to get a headshot on Lucky and finish him off. But with only Lucky being lost, this shouldn't be the end of the world for Heretics. They should still definitely be able to buy, get the utility in, get the armor refreshed when necessary, and for that, move on to the next round, where so far things are going far more toe-to-toe in Vertigo at the start.
Yeah, a little bit of a gamble here from WINSTRIKE. Unfortunately, them deciding to go for the long angle approach with the USPs versus AKs and AWP. Not really sure why that would have worked. And luckily, at least, being able to get one kill in. Now going into a new buy round. AWP towards the line, but the first frag comes in towards Nickelback. Kyoshima just running it down towards the A side, taking more and more control, and Bondic will be taken out in due time. Prison, the only player to do something in return from the side of WINSTRIKE, but losing the fight to Lucky straight after, meaning it's a 4-on-2 and most likely a save to come in from that CT side. No need to challenge this any further, because with that AWP, no real defuse kit or no of utility either. The chances are very slim that you will win this.
It's not a risk that you're going to take, just be smart, be safe and save. And with that, maybe do grant Heretics another round or so. Would you agree that there is perhaps still a somewhat CT side advantage in Vertigo, the tiniest one?
Ooh, that's a tough
It's because I understand it is a contentious point. Some people say that there is. Some people, at least in the past, in the past, people said that it was very much T-sided at times with the rotations that they were able to do and with how they had a lot of map movability. But right now, do you still feel like maybe it does lean a little bit more towards T or not?
Well, luckily, B is more defendable with that window being taken out. Of course, otherwise the Ts would really bank on that mid pressure. Now you can still get it, you can still rotate towards the B side, but the chance of you being caught off, or at least losing some players, is just a little bit greater. So in that regard, it's a little bit more CT side than it used to be. But I think it still really depends on the aggression and also possibly the up pressure from that CT side.
Oh.
Lion going really aggressive on this force buy round, it seems. Or no, it's a pistol armor with, of course, the safe weapons. And that means that they will lose a player, then also lose another after that trade to come in. It's going to be Chris, and also losing his life. Too lucky, moving in with the AK. And once more, you dare to say there would be a save to come in from WINSTRIKE. An M4 in armor, still valuable, and that CZ and armor from Bondik, pretty decent to possibly get an exit frag and an AK for himself.
I believe that's the best that he could hope for, you know, that you don't really... Well, you can't really anticipate much else. This is pretty clearly in Heretics' ballpark. And towards the, or getting towards the end of the first half, now things are looking a bit more favorable for Heretics. A strong CT, or a strong CT side put down by them.
Team damage, baby,
Yeah,
let's go. Just a little bit scary how they are tapping onto each other. I believe another love tap to come in. At least keeping the players awake from the side of Heretics. Now also gaining another round in towards their lead. 4-6 will be the score, and of course WINSTRIKE will save those weapons, will be able to buy really well into the coming round with a lot of utility to work with. It will be enough. You just saw Kiyoshima run down towards the A side in the previous round. This time Lion wasn't able to hit his shots with his early aggression. How are they going to bring it back?
Well, that might be the right question to ask. We'll have to see what they're going to do. With the buy, at least, they should have the opportunity to do so. They have utility, they have weaponry. Only one defuse kit, though. And that's not the... Yeah, that's not the best, well, the most ideal situation, but I do understand that if you look at the utility, you're going to prefer taking the risk on that one defuse kit rather than maybe having to, you know, bank and not buy or barely buy any utility to use. So in that sense, it's a sensible decision, and it's making the best out of it, basically. After seeing him.
The interesting thing is that WINSTRIKE now on the CT side is again struggling. We've seen that before on Nuke as well, so not sure if they're just really that T-sided team that will really
could lean into
develop.
the CIS aggressiveness, you know,
Yeah.
the aspect that, you know, CIS teams are definitely known for. There is a reason why the famous Rush B quote is from someone from that region, I think.
Well, at least when people try to quote it, they do it with a blatant Russian accent.
Something in that ballpark, yes.
Wallbangs are coming in, a little bit of damage, not all too much, as we do see a lot of pressure from Heretics towards that A side. Maka through the smoke takes down Bondik. That's the first frag, and this might actually mean another round in favor of that T side. Just trying to wallbang more and more. Kristen going to half HP, and the pressure will be on. The push will now commence. Lucky with another frag. Lion will drop the bomb, but it's going to be Kristen. Instrumental gets the first frag, gets a second as well. Will he get the third, or will he be traded? Is Kiyoshima getting a frag? Maka coming in clutch to save out his teammate. And now we have a Lion, the sole member alive for the side of WINSTRIKE. It seemed to be going so well with Kristen getting those frags, but there was no support. That means we now have a 1v2, and Kiyoshima going to topple literally a Lion as he puts him in a little bit of a scared flick. But still, it is that 4-7 lead, and WINSTRIKE is struggling more and more on this CT side.
I mean, that was a solid boost there, you know. I don't think he saw that one coming, and with that, they got the frag. Heretics, as a result, building up further and further, advantage getting stronger and stronger. And with that, things looking quite positive for them. I also think that if you compare these two teams, I'd say WINSTRIKE, you know, more T-sided, so I don't expect them to really do such a great job on the CT side. I really don't think that that's going to be an asset or an advantage to them, rather more of a disadvantage.
You see some more utility once more flying towards that A side of the bomb. Currently a little bit more forwarded towards B. Lion missing another shot, not really on point with the AWP today. We already saw him lacking on towards Nuke, and I think this might be one of the reasons why they're not really performing too well, not being able to build on towards usually one of the pillars of your team, one of the stable driving forces, and Heretics being lucky to get away with 5 players as of now.
That's well, the best that they can hope for. I think that Heretics, though, this round, they should be able to capture the advantage, and it starts off well. Nivera gets the frag on Lackey. Kirishima, in the meantime, also takes out Nickelback. Goes, well, second here? No, because Elian denies it. Actually takes him out, even though Krisen has been severely tagged by him. Nivera now pushing through and should be able to get the plant in here. They've got that in the pocket. Now the rest of the team might be falling back, and they have decided that these weapons that they found are just worth keeping and not worth risking.
Well, it seems like Heretics is quite in favor in the Vi.GG stats right now.
Yeah, look
1.10 over to 6.22. I think WINSTRIKE is pretty much out of it if you look in that regard, but maybe on the T side they can bring it back. Maybe they can make it a little bit closer later on. Maybe we'll go to the third map, or maybe it's just going to be Maniac, the smart guy, to be right once more, and possibly you as well, with your 2-0 prediction.
I mean, imagine, right? Imagine if that actually happens, that you could have the, well,
you need to come back.
Me being right, you know, like, yes, and I also quite need to come back, I will admit. Maybe it wasn't the smartest move to put my money on there being a knife in the first map and an overtime. You got me there.
You put in quite a bit of money as well.
Maybe, just a little bit. It's I get, like I said, all in or nothing. You know, I believe in myself. I believe that it's just, yeah. If you're either going to go for it or you're just not going to bother in the first place.
Indeed. Well, we do see a buy, of course, to come out from WINSTRIKE again. This Heretics lineup. 8-4 currently the score, and here we see the first frag to come in once more. Nickelback not being supported, Lion luckily hitting a shot right now. Now we have a 4-on-4. Will he get a second? No. Pre-fired by Nivera going for a second as well. This means that the A side topples in towards the favor of Heretics, as Baltic is still at the yellow tarp. Lackey will actually come in as well. That's a very good rotation. And it's now on towards a 2-on-2, but look at how little time has actually transpired. It's going to be Nivera with his third kill of the round. Looking for more, but Maka, possibly the player to finish things off, is going to be Lackey peeking in towards him. Will get a tag down. Nivera, of course, also low. Will be sprayed down through the smoke. Bomb will be dropped. And now it's going to be Lackey, possibly to be caught out in the open. Molly will come in, but it's going to be too deep. Another Molly will fly in. It's Maka trading that AWP for the AK, working out wondrously and winning the 1v1 clutch.
I do want to highlight that there, though. Very well played by Lackey, in essence, because he knew, okay, I'm getting tagged from the side here, but there is still another player left who's probably going to be coming out of the smoke, gets the frag like that, and really, it was a very nice attempt by him. Sadly, though, the follow-up wasn't there. He just couldn't push through, or he couldn't pull through. And now, who knows, at this rate, with also those VIA.GG odds looking more and more towards Heretics, we might actually be seeing them getting double digits in this first half.
We do see those AKs now chiming towards that B side, trying to get a few more rounds in before this first half is over. Heretics being rather favored at this moment in time. They'll have to bide their time as smokes are, for instance, placed at this A ramp. There's a player on top there. Maka does not spot it. Bombek with the first frag. XMS, however, will have that refrag, will go low. A nade could seal the deal, and indeed it will. WINSTRIKE finally with a player lead. And it's going to be interesting to see how they will manage to come back in towards this map, or if they will be able to at all. Good dink, good tag, and a very good wallbang from Krisen on towards Kiyoshima. Again, going for that 1v1 fight and winning it. Lucky being flashed out, not being killed whatsoever. Eventually will fall to the USP of Lackey. Has to reload his M4 after spraying through that wood barricade for a little time. Eventually it's going to be Nivera falling as well. A very good and strong round from WINSTRIKE, losing only one player.
And who knows, maybe WINSTRIKE with their performance now, especially because of the fact that they also only lost one player because their economy was actually, you know, they had fully used up their reserves there. Maybe they can end this out on a 6-9. They'd only be 3 rounds behind. It wouldn't be that dramatic. There'd be decent chances. There'd be opportunities there. But you do, you know, I do have to see it happen first. It's difficult so far.
Well, we're biding our time. It's Krisen going relatively aggressive once more, trying to at least get that opening frag as Nickelback is again trying to face that A ramp. Will get XMS through the smoke. XMS, of course, the most important player on the previous map. And did they actually run a double AWP setup on the side of Heretics? It's quite interesting for a D side, losing more players by the minute, but it will be a little bit on a trade. Of course, on that B side, losing ground will be WINSTRIKE having to come back in towards this side. Now also the bomb being picked up and some weapons to be exchanged. Kiyoshima with his low HP will get that AWP. Now try to go for the plan, but there's still a nade. There's still some mollies to be thrown out, and Kiyoshima will cancel. As Bombay will fall to Makai 2-on-2, but they're both very, very low. And if that utility would work out, there could still be a kill to be found. Nickelback still having that incendiary as well.
There is a solid chance here. Nickelback has to get the frag. He does. That leaves only Kiyoshima. Has an AWP. Clutch potential is definitely there, but no. Elian with a clean CZ shot finishes him off, and Heretics end this last round of this first half with a 9-6 scoreline. 3 rounds advantage for Heretics. WINSTRIKE, who by that logic also, depending on how you look at it, have a solid chance. There are opportunities here. They only have 3 rounds to catch up, but they also have to play on the, well, CT side now. So it's dangerous.
Important for me is that WINSTRIKE will win another pistol. So far in the series, they've won all 3, and maybe they can add a 4th, and then they'll have a chance to at least get close, equalize the score, possibly, and make it happen. But it's going to be hard, because so far, Heretics is just a little bit stronger. They are just a little bit more close-knit, but look at XMS. 4-11 scoreline on this map, not really building in that pressure he had on the previous. Luckily, the rest of the team is stepping up. But that might actually be worrisome for the side of Heretics going into this second half as well.
Yes, also, of course, I said CT side. That was just a joke, of course.
Yeah, just testing us, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Heretics going into the CT side. Now, you can look at it from both ways, right? WINSTRIKE, a team that is known for its aggressiveness, and it's a CIS team. It's a team that might be better on the T side. Who knows? Maybe that is good for them, but we'll see now. It's all down to Heretics. They have to hold off their sights well enough. Let's see if they can actually get their hands on those double digits, if they can actually get the good pistol round now. Started off well, and with that build up a bit of a streak.
Well, let's see. It's going to be the first kill from Maka to come in from Lecky. That will mean it's already a 5-4. WINSTRIKE is in trouble as Nivera takes another frag. Will get
Nivera.
a double as well. It's going to be only Nickelback alive, as it's going to be Lucky also stepping up. And that would mean, just normally, that we do see Heretics winning this round and go to double digits. A sad moment in time. It's WINSTRIKE to lose another round, and for the first time in this series, in the 2 maps we've seen, lose a pistol as well.
And who knows, maybe that's what's needed. That's what's required to happen for Heretics to actually get the upper hand. We'll have to see it and see to believe it too, I think is good to say. I think that there's still solid potential for Heretics here to just get this cleanly done in a 0-2 situation, but still, though, has to be said, Heretics so far, their performance can be finicky. It's not always the most reliable.
Nivera going very aggressive, will be taken down by Lecky through the smoke. We now have a 5-4. Of course, there's still just Deagles on the side of WINSTRIKE in this force buy. At least they've dealt the first damage, which is necessary, as Lecky now takes down XMS as well. Once more falling without doing too much damage is that player from the French side, and will really hurt his confidence going further in towards his CT side. Flashbangs to come in, Lucky fully flash, but Kiyoshima with a good flank gets 1, gets 2, almost low HP on the last player, but it's going to be Maka falling in the meantime. Bondik doing what he needs to do with that Deagle. A 4-2 scoreline, Kiyo being low, Lucky at half HP, and the rotate going towards that A side from both teams.
The rotate, of course, the call from Heretics being good here, managed to deny WINSTRIKE's opportunity to plant for just a little while longer with that molly as well. But Bondik here, a little bit of an elevated position, which gives him a good chance.
They're going all the way back to B as well now. And this is going to be a little bit confusing. Lucky actually to be taken down right now by a Lion, but the time is still plenty, so they could even go back towards the A side if they wanted to. But Kiyoshima is coming in for the flank. It's going to be very late in towards the round, possibly to get some exits as well, because a 1v4 on towards 6 HP. Not really sure that's too likely to be won by Kiyoshima.
No,
he doesn't have a defuse kit either.
You don't believe in him?
No.
Really, you're not sure? How can you not think that he can win this, Childrick? I don't understand. clearly he must have a solid chance here.
Well, sometimes you have to believe, but at this moment in time, it just doesn't seem to be that case. He's standing by, hoping players will exit via this position. There's the first one. He's trying to chase it down and tries to play the patient game, hoping another one will come in towards his aim. At least he'll get an upgrade to another MP9, but that is only the first kill and the final kill he will get. 7th round coming in for WINSTRIKE. Bounce it back from that pistol.
We'll see. It's really a bit of a to and fro at this point. WINSTRIKE gets the round this time, but Heretics is still 3 rounds up on them. Of course, their economy is quite dire at this point, and I don't really expect Heretics to be able to make much out of this. Although, by the looks of things, we get the replay again, by the way, to look at Kiyoshima here. Had that MP9 in his hands and at least managed to get a little $600 bonus at the end of the round.
Yeah, lucky there wasn't a second player. Maybe he would have died otherwise. At least there's some utility to go with him. And of course, they will force back in towards this round themselves. As we do see the Deagle and the armor. The MP9 is going to be Maka going very low, taking that weapon from Kiyoshima. Interesting that he's given that up, but the problem is there won't be any return on investment on towards that drop as Maka has instantly fallen. No damage being dealt by the side of Heretics so far. As we now do actually see a line going down to that CZ of Lucky.
And maybe that CZ frag, the kind of return frag from Heretics, might give them the chance to try and even this out a bit more at least. It's some good economy damage for starters, but even if it's decent economy damage, it might not be everything. And how Griffin gets the frag there, that might show how it really isn't everything. Best they can do now is fall back a little bit perhaps and try and take up some other inventive positions like that, position themselves to at least get one or two more frags. But besides that, there's not really much more they can hope for.
But all 3 players from the side of Heretics have already set up on towards this A side. Slightly decked up by the Molly will be XMS, but the rest of his team will still be standing by. The pair of the first frag breakdown coming in is Chris, and of course to follow things up. Still a player close is XMS, only getting 1, but will be traded out. Still a lot of damage being dealt by the side of Heretics. They'll have to go back towards the Nico now because, well, they forced back into it. They've lost. And now they have to take a step back and see WINSTRIKE get closer to their score and possibly see WINSTRIKE actually gaining some financial momentum.
And WINSTRIKE's financial momentum might be a kind of risk for Heretics there. Gives them opportunities, gives them a nice little reserve to start building up. And once WINSTRIKE actually gets that reserve, a lovely 1D by XMS there, by the way. Oh, but look at this, especially now, Elian with those Mach 10 frags. Okay, Elian, take it easy, buddy.
They're
Triple
running
kill.
down mid, and he will just take $1,800 from that, and it's going to be easy if Heretics will give them such possibilities to get those frags. XMS will take down a, I dare to say, choking Nickelback, because that spray should have been an easy frag. But luckily, the French player is at least getting some confidence back in towards this map. Last player, Lucky, standing by right beneath that little ramp, will be spotted out, and the accuracy of the Mach 10 isn't too great. Luckily, there's still the kill for Grison, meaning they won't lose another player on the side of WINSTRIKE, and it will be 10-9. Heretics still in favor, buying, of course, in towards this round, hoping they can at least get towards 11, or else they will have to face the consequences. WINSTRIKE is seemingly to become stronger every round.
The consequences, the harsh reality. And the harsh reality is also slowly catching up to Heretics there. WINSTRIKE now very close to getting the double digits potentially, and if they get that, it's a milestone moment. It's a key turning, and it starts off well for WINSTRIKE. Elian gets the frag then. Nivera taken out, one of the better players on the Team Heretics side. Of course, well known for being from the same bloodline as the CSGO legend Scream. But right now, there won't be that many more one-taps coming from him.
We do see a line actually being tagged up towards half HP, still decently enough to fight with it. AWP, of course, trying to hold an angle, trying to get that second opening kill as Kiyoshima with the FAMAS is trying to contest that A ramp. Currently not spotting any players, meaning they might actually rotate off or at least lack some utility usage to waste some time. So we do see the fight to come in. Some damage being dealt is going to be aligned with the second frag as well on towards Lucky. Kiyoshima, sole member standing, will get some support from XMS, but they're under pressure. Utility still plenty on the side of WINSTRIKE, hoping to get those frags in, or at least a plan soon enough. As Maka is standing by, still a smoke in hand, will try to delay this yellow tar push. As all players of Heretics once more really committing on that rotate. But well, WINSTRIKE is calling their bluff, going towards the B side. Easy plant, easy round, you dare to say.
You dare to say, but you can never know for sure. Things aren't always so clear-cut. Things aren't always so easy as they might seem. Although this time around, I think Heretics might have already decided to go for either. Well, no, it doesn't look like they're going for the save, although I find it hard to...
They are.
Oh, no, they definitely are by the looks of it. Perhaps the smarter move does mean that WINSTRIKE now reaches the equalizer, reaches double digits themselves. We can see the Vi.GG odds also shifting a bit more now towards their favor. It was 6 point... some number that I can't remember specifically. My apologies.
Loads of numbers.
Yeah, not good with maths, never been. And so slowly but surely Heretics is shifting out of favor a bit faster and faster. And who knows, perhaps WINSTRIKE actually turns this around. Perhaps they do win this second map and actually push it to Overpass, where, of course, as we've said before, Overpass is a bit of a coin toss. Both teams statistically not really the best win rate on the map.
Now let me just highlight that. 25% win rate for Heretics. And you're saying 25, that's so bad.
Oh, but it
gets
can be worse.
20% for WINSTRIKE. So that indeed will be a little bit of a coin toss. Possibly also looking at momentum coming out of this map. If WINSTRIKE is playing really well here and they do manage to win it, they will be at least a little bit more comfortable going on towards that third map as well. But Heretics, well, they seem to be strong still. 10 rounds, have lost a few in a row, but we know that WINSTRIKE do tend to get a little bit of a streak going in. When they lose it, they will lose quite a few rounds themselves. Maka going aggressive, will fall to Nickelback. This was over-aggression. Where was the flashbang to help him out?
Yeah, that's critical team play. That's something that you need right there and then, but it wasn't there. Quite the shame for Heretics there. Means they lose a team member, and that's a nasty start of this round for them. Means that there's a very good chance that WINSTRIKE will just continue this, will continue their streak, will continue, or will start gaining the advantage over Team Heretics. Heretics, of course, that were playing quite well. They had a nice little 3-round advantage at the start of this round, but there's not much left of that. Oh, well, at the start of this half. But there's not much left of that now. With Elian fragging like there's no tomorrow, things are clearly looking better and better for WINSTRIKE by the second. XMS does provide some resistance, but Lackey finishes it off with a double kill there. WINSTRIKE gets the 11th round, and Heretics keep struggling around the 10-round mark.
It's a little bit of a shame, as you saw, actually, Heretics having a good chance. Bringing it back to a 4-on-4 with the deagle kill of Lucky. They just stayed around too long without any support, and that means he was standing there waiting and couldn't do anything. Losing another round, losing the lead now entirely towards WINSTRIKE as well. And let's see if WINSTRIKE can extend it once more. Of course, a buy to come in from Heretics with 2 AWPs. Both Nevera and Maka will take one in towards their hands, hoping to either open the score or put down the pressure elsewhere, as Maka is forced back a player close by from the WINSTRIKE side. Nickelback actually already going low. I think that was probably a good tag from some utility, as Lackey is also grouping up towards that A-ramp. The whole side of WINSTRIKE banking on this push to come in, as we do see a lot of sprays to come down, but no real extra shots actually hitting.
So far, only that damage on Nickelback and not much more. It's Heretics that could still grab this round. They just need to bank on Nickelback going down rather swiftly. And with that, preventing Heretics, or well, preventing WINSTRIKE from actually getting onto the site in the first place. Utility is going to be thrown out now. And with that, WINSTRIKE is going to try their best to actually get the plant down.
Well, let's see what will come in towards the rest of this match. Is Maka standing by the yellow tar with the AWP being closed down by, of course, that Molly being behind him. Seeing a player move by, can't find the player just yet. As Kiyoshima through the smoke will take down Nickelback. Lucky with another follow-up as well. It's going to be a 2-on-4 as Maka, of course, with the refrag will get another kill onto a line, leaving only Chris alive, low HP, and, well, a very unfavorable position needing some luck, some over-aggression, and possibly some players to jump off the building as well to make this round work. Because I think he's been spotted out, and the kill indeed will follow suit by XMS. 11-11, equal scores, equal numbers, and once more, we have a very exciting and close match.
Yep, it is going a bit to and fro, but it looks like it might be, well, I find it hard to say, you know. It's a bit of a similar result. It's like what we've seen earlier, where it did get quite close. Of course, it was the streak, and now, well, the streaks are a bit shorter. They're not as long as they were in the previous map, but still, there's definitely potential for this to become a result like the 16-13 that we saw in favor of Team Heretics in the last map. Who knows, maybe now if they actually turn it around, it might be 3-4 more rounds that they win. And then it could be WINSTRIKE catching up, but eventually Heretics taking the upper hand. We don't know yet. It could go both ways. And that's the excitement of the match, or well, of the map, but also the match.
A Lion holding a small angle as the smoke will dissipate soon, but Maka's also standing by. The AWP will miss a shot once more. The AK player will try to shoulder peek him a few times. Damage will be done, and Live with a frag onto Lucky will be traded out as Nickelback will fall on the D side as well. At least there's some damage done. Maka luckily being able to get a kill on his second peak. But it's going to be a little bit scary for Heretics, losing, of course, some key players. And that HP not really working out too well for the Opera as well.
And it's a shame, but at the end of the day, I think it's better to have an AWPer who has low HP compared to a Rifler. You know, it's the AWP has that one-shot kill potential. So if the AWPer loses a few rounds, well, a bit of his HP at the start, it's not that fatal per se. Rather have that than them dying altogether.
They're trying to fake towards the A side as the rest of the players will try to rotate towards B. If they're standing by, however, with the AWP should be fleshed out. If they don't, it would mean their demise most likely, because the opening kill would be turned around with, of course, also a rotate to come in. 20 seconds they have to commit. Flashbangs, mollies, everything is working. Nivera will be tagged up and will fall back again. Flashed himself. Flashbang for XMS, but he will fall just before it pops. Meaning we now have a 4-on-3 in the plan to come in just in the nick of time. Mollies to be thrown in. At least there will be another kill for the side of Heretics. Bombik going down 3-on-3, but those two AWPs on the retake. It's going to be hard as Maka falls as well. It's going to be Nivera going upwards with that AWP. A smoke to be thrown on towards the cross. Another one on towards the bomb as well. So a ninja defuse might come in soon. As Lucky will try to get a kill. Kyoshima with the turnaround. The defuse has not been stuck as a Lion takes down Kyoshima as well. Only Nivera alive. 1v2 has to gamble for it. Still wants to go for that 1v1. Takes down a Lion. But the time it has run out. And Nivera takes the kill. But the problem is, I think he was hit up and that slowed him down too much. Actually, and the round will go to Heretics.
I thought he didn't have any time. Did you think? I didn't think he had any time left.
I thought as well, especially with the damage tag coming down. He still manages to clutch it. Heretics will get that round in 12-11. And we were still a little bit convinced as well that Nivera, despite getting these two kills, Pearson hits him once. And that one hit slowed him down just enough to almost win the round. It was just a little bit too little for WINSTRIKE. Almost getting it, but now losing that lead. And Heretics have gotten that momentum they so desperately need to possibly win it in a 2-0. If they do, your bets will be a little bit better than mine. And of course, Maniac will be happy as well. But we do see the utility once more flying around. No damage being dealt. If you look at the economy, no reserves on Heretics. And pretty much all of the reserves of WINSTRIKE being put in towards this round as well. But the utility and weaponry slightly better on the T side.
Yeah, and I'd say they have, you know, look at Chris and look at Lackey. I'd say it's about 2,000 on average, maybe if you spread it out a little bit. So it is somewhat better than Heretics, but we aren't talking about crazy amounts here, you know. These aren't reserves in the likes of 8,000, 9,000. So really, the teams are pretty close in that regard as well. And who knows, if Heretics actually wins this round, then WINSTRIKE isn't going to have much of reserves left either. And for Heretics, it's actually critical that they do win this round, because if they don't, then, well, I'm afraid that it might, you know, that might just be it. That might just mean that they will definitely lose out on the next round as well. And then before you know it, WINSTRIKE is going to be ahead, and WINSTRIKE is going to be close to a potential map win. And the opportunity... Wow.
That flick coming in from Alliance, so crisp, so clean, but Kiyoshima has fallen, but XMS will come in for a frag in return, gets another one on towards Nickelback, but he's actually gone for the flank, whereas the rotate from WINSTRIKE has gone towards the B side. Nivera going for the no-scope, won't hit anything. As the bomb has been planted, it's a 4-on-3. Heretics with the player lead, but look at their HP. It's not all too great as we see Lucky trying to move up around the scaffolding, hoping to get an angle in. Of course, they still have a lot of utility on towards Heretics as well, but they haven't really used it to great effect. XMS going for a third frag, has already gotten two, but he will fall. AWP of Mecha standing by. Don't peek in towards this, you would have to know. But as he loses another battle, it's going to be Heretics losing another round. 12-2, as the elder players from WINSTRIKE will eventually close things out. And we do see Heretics, well, messing up. Possibly will go to overpass, possibly will go to overtime. So many possibilities, so many things we don't know just yet. It's going to be all out in the open to see if WINSTRIKE will be winning and, well, make do with what their name is actually telling us.
But honestly, though, that was a round that could have definitely gone to Heretics.
If they used their utility better, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, if XMS had actually, you know, well, he had some critical frags there, but it just didn't go to plan. It didn't go as it should have.
The problem is, XMS's flank meant that Heretics most likely thought it would have been an A side. There was no defender left on B. It was just a clean entry. No delay, instant plant, and then WINSTRIKE had a lot of time to get in towards that after plant position as well. Without real good utility coming in from the CT side, there was no real contest and they could go for those fights. Winning one means already a better situation. Winning two possibly means a one round, and we saw that as well. WINSTRIKE just bringing it home, and those odds are changing ever so slightly more in towards their favor. But of course, Heretics in the long run seems to still be the favorite, looking at their slightly better overpass rate.
Just slightly, we'll see, but still, I'm not sure yet if we can convincingly say that we are going to overpass. Right now, the Heretics still have potential. They might let it get somewhat closer. It might even be a repeat from the previous map. It might even be the same 16-13 score. But we'll have to see. XMS does start it off well, gets one frag, but Lackey with a triple, make it a 4K. Are we going for the ace?
No, he's already fallen.
He's already gone.
Unfortunately, Vera that will deny it.
Gets
a double, almost a triple. That could have meant a round for Heretics on an eco. And it wouldn't have been the first time WINSTRIKE would have choked against a round like that. But this was almost a Cinderella story, going well for Heretics. They have now lost the lead once more, but they've put a very big dent in towards the economy of WINSTRIKE. And that could have gone either way. Heretics now actually trying to buy, of course, in towards this round, trying to equalize the score once more. Nivera happy about his skills, but probably bummed that he couldn't get the last one as well.
Happy, but indeed it just didn't suffice, sadly. A shame, but it is what it is. There's not much more to do. Maka starts it out well, though, takes out Bondic, and with that, an opportunity is potentially created for Heretics to actually start to push towards the equalizer again. Really ping-pong-like map that's being played here, but that's the kind of maps that we have been seeing quite consistently in the competition so far. That's the kind of stuff that we can somewhat get used to, I'd say.
Sound made by Lackey. Doesn't know there's a player to his left, and also not the players in CD. Nivera has gotten the kill. That means we're now into a 5-on-3 situation. And what can WINSTRIKE do to bring this back? They're going in one by one, and that's not really the way to do it. As more counter util will also follow suit by the side of Heretics. Trying to play it slow, knowing that time will eventually become part of the problems for WINSTRIKE. Where again, trying to commit towards B, but this time there are players there. XMS is biding his time, getting 2 kills once he does peek in the Lion in 1v5. Most likely to save that AWP because, well, maybe they can buy, but at least they will have a decent weapon to work around. And with him currently being on a 2,000 plus amount of money, they will still be able to then buy later on if they do eco next.
If they do, of course. A good question to ask. When it's a team like WINSTRIKE, they would not. It would not be the weirdest thing to see them force it out in the hopes of trying to push Heretics and trying to keep them on their toes. We'll see, though. Now it's a 4v1. This is definitely not going to be a win anymore for Alien. Also not with the time that's ticking down.
This might just be the read from a Lion coming in on towards XMS. The player to be spotted out and, of course, to be cancelled. Time has run out. That means that WINSTRIKE will survive with only one member. Wallbang almost taking him down. Heretics will at least equalize the score. And that means that now they might be working on towards their map win. That would mean a 2-0 lead for themselves once more. Of course, these clean kills coming in from XMS, doing a good job, and that really prompted the save. And of course, the round win for Heretics. Curious to see if we will see WINSTRIKE either choke it out once more, unable to eventually win rounds and maps in the end of every match they've played so far, or if they will be able to topple Heretics and bring it towards Overpass, the third map of this series. It's going to be a little bit of a scuffle to see.
It wouldn't, a WINSTRIKE choke wouldn't surprise me at this point.
A Lion actually being, I believe, lag-shotted or possibly wallbanged by Maka and eventually getting the kill in return. That's a very good trade for himself. Brings it into a 5-on-40 favors are for WINSTRIKE, and a sneaky Bombik is moving up, trying to spot out a player. And will he be able to do so? To his right, there will be one. It's a great flick on towards Kiyoshima. And now that means there's a completely open A side and WINSTRIKE, of course, knowing they have it in the bag, with Heretics now going for the save. No reason to already risk their mediocre to bad economy, not having anything really to rebuy in towards the next, just trying to make those weapons work. Unfortunately, not having that double AWP once more, but luckily Nifera still has one, and he hasn't been too shabby either.
Yeah, Heretics here, they are making the right call, going for the save, but it is a bit tough. WINSTRIKE, they are starting to get closer and closer, of course. The risk is Heretics that they are going to go to a third map. Third map doesn't mean that they've lost yet, but you're inviting a certain amount of risk. And this is a map, Vertigo. It is, at the end of the day, WINSTRIKE's map pick. So in a way, you could expect them to play better, but still, statistically, they do play worse on this map. So in a way, you could just as easily say, okay, Heretics, you should have this. And will it go to overtime, Charlie?
Look at this. FidoGG still having favorable odds for that overtime. And I actually bet beforehand that this would go to overtime. I believed in it. And I still believe that if WINSTRIKE gets to that 15th, they might have some trouble closing it out. But Heretics also necessary for them to get some rounds in, because if they don't, they will get a very bad situation with their economy going into the last round. Of course, if WINSTRIKE would lose a round right now, they could still buy back, and that might put some pressure on towards Heretics.
I'm, of course, well, I bet on there being no overtime in the second map.
Well, there might be a chance for you, because WINSTRIKE has gotten the better papers right now.
I would be very disappointed if the first day that we actually, we do our little caster clash, that it would go so dramatically wrong that you would be.
It is all expected by me. I have those prediction skills, you know.
No, I'm not going to comment on that.
Cheeky bugger.
You are absolutely a cheeky bugger at times, yes, very much so. But we'll see. WINSTRIKE here so far. Haven't really gotten any opening frags yet. No people have fallen just yet. More utility is being thrown onto the site now. Getting some utility in return, but no picks being made so far. And with that, Heretics still has a solid chance as long as they don't lose any team members. It could very well stay on this 13 and eventually go to a 14. WINSTRIKE, maybe, just maybe. If they get onto the site now, they are pushing the plant. There is
no incendiary being thrown. Maka still had one as lucky does get killed on towards Bombik, but the bomb has now been planted, and that might actually be a little bit more important than that frag coming out. Risen luckily being tagged up, so at least that's something they have going for him. As Lion is holding that angle, has been strong on that AWP so far. Nifera, of course, still having one as well, with the flashes coming in, not hitting his flick. There will be wallbang headshot, and it's going to be Nickelback with the first kill in return for the side of WINSTRIKE. Will get a second as well, almost a third. Kyoshima will get a kill in return, but it's going to be a line and Nick back both falling. 2 players remaining on either side. The defuse not coming in from Heretics. This will be the map point for WINSTRIKE as Lackey will get the last kill with that deagle as well. Surviving with only 3 HP, 3 kills as well. And look at the economy from the side of Heretics. It is disastrous. And they might actually be able to lose it right here. WINSTRIKE to bring it to overpass. There is a chance for the CIS region team.
But I so see it happen now that you were right and that we are actually going to see overtime, to be quite honest. It would not surprise me in the slightest, you know?
Well, it all depends on, of course, a force by working for Heretics. We've seen them do some magnificent stuff so far. But they really need to make it work. It's going to be those deagles to possibly get the frags, and we've seen Lucky do some great stuff. XMS has been strong on the first map, struggling a little bit, but coming back later on towards this CT side as well, on towards Vertigo. We see Kyoshima being tagged up quite heavily, getting a nade stuck underneath his toenail. Will really hurt you, don't worry. You won't probably see that in real life, as we do see more nades to fly in, but the damage, the real value of those nades lacking on the side of Heretics as they take more and more damage.
But you do see the start being made by WINSTRIKE now. WINSTRIKE also obviously having the better utility. The weapons are a bit more on point. They don't have those SMGs to deal with. They don't have a pistol, or well, a deagle, or for that matter of fact, a FAMAS. But we'll see now. There's still a chance. Heretics could, you know, potentially, to really play it in your ballpark, push this to overtime. But as Krizen starts it out, gets the first frag, Kyoshima taken out. Who knows, maybe just now it might not be going to that. Smoke's being thrown in. Gets refreshed there. Nivera does get a double kill though. M4 coming in clutch. It is Elian who can refrag it in the end. 3v3 now. This is still up in the air. This could still go certain places.
It was just luckily that Tech9 spray to come in from a line to get a refrag. Otherwise, Nivera would have reloaded and would have been again in a good position to get some frags. 3-on-3 situation. There will be a peek coming in from Maka. Time is running out. 15 seconds. They need to get those pressures on from the side of Heretics. Lucky gets killed towards Nickelback.
But the
bomb has to go towards the side. It will be planted. There's a incendiary actually being thrown down. But what is this late rotation? XMS is still now coming from that B side. Luckily joining up with his teammate, but the kill and the plant has come in both at the same time. Of course, that incendiary getting the frag eventually, but the Lion now in that 1v2, he will go down. XMS wallbang headshot to come in, and Heretics will win the round. Will this mean the demise of WINSTRIKE? Will this mean overtime? We won't know just yet, but I at least know that with this plant, WINSTRIKE will be able to buy a very big turnaround from a very wild force buy to come in.
How could you... Are you going to be right? Are you seriously going to be right that it's going to be overtime? Are you going to really crush me that hard on the first day?
Do you know, RJ, that I have a medical condition that my brain is so big it barely fits in my head?
Really now?
Yeah, that's why I'm so good at predicting.
And it's carried by your neck being so thick.
Oh, yes, indeed, and this big belly as well. We do see a very decent buy coming in from WINSTRIKE. Unfortunately, a Galil for Krizen, having to spend a little bit more on towards that utility. But still, Heretics has a better buy. They're looking very strong. Nivera, however, just a lack of head armor. And then Galil can actually be a very big nuisance. Lucky standing by the M4, wanting to go possibly a little bit more aggressive if he does get a chance. But we only see one AWP. We've usually seen two on that CT side. A Lion trying to move up, spots a player. Knows that there will be one close by. Is Lucky, of course, trying to use some utility. The nades to fly in as well. But again, no real damage being dealt. None at all, actually, from the side of Heretics. And then you dare to say, is it maybe a little bit of waste? Maybe they should have gone a little bit more deep with those frag grenades every round before as well.
We'll see in a moment now. The weapons are good on Heretics. Utility is there. This could go either way. Honestly, WINSTRIKE obviously does want this to go to a third map now. It starts well. Krizen gets the first frag, takes the second too by, or well, Lackey takes the second. Kyoshima does return it somewhat. Nivera coming in clutch, does get a double kill there. 2v2 now. This is still a big question mark. What is Nivera going to do? Might be able to push through the smoker, get another frag. Movement is there. It's an AWP and an AK. Nivera should be able to do this. He gets the... No, he doesn't get the frag. XMS does get it, though. It's close. But Nickelback gets the frag, and we are going to the third map. It is going to be overpass, no overtime. And I have to admit, I'm quite glad that I was right in the end, but it was close. It was incredibly close there. WINSTRIKE, they fought hard, they fought valiantly, and in the end, it's WINSTRIKE that win this map. We are going to see Overpass, ladies and gentlemen. It is a nice map to end a best of 3 on, I will admit.
At least it's something over. No overtime, but it will be Overpass. So close. That could have been a really good chance for Heretics. Coming in close. XMS, unfortunately for him and the rest of his team, not being able